Clint Eastwood, the iconic actor and director who rose from humble beginnings to conquer Hollywood, lived a life marked by far more hardship than his steely gaze ever revealed. Behind the unwavering on-screen presence was a childhood disrupted by constant moves. Early career uncertainty, anxiety attacks, a near-fatal plane crash, and the heartbreaking loss of his father. Yet through these trials, he forged a legacy as one of cinema's most celebrated figures. Did his turbulent past shape the legend he became? He was born May 31st, 1930, at St. Francis Hospital in San Francisco, surprising the nurses with his hefty 11-pound weight and earning the nickname Samson. His parents, Clinton Sr. and Ruth Nee Runner, had English, Scottish, Dutch, German, and Irish roots, and even a Mayflower ancestor tucked somewhere in the family line. Clint's younger sister, Jean Bernhardt, joined the family later. Throughout the 1930s, Clint's father hopped from job to job salesman, part-time detective forcing the family to move constantly. But by 1940, they had finally settled into comfortable living in affluent Piedmont, California. Contrary to the Depression-era hardship stories Clint sometimes tells, the Eastwoods had a swimming pool, a country club membership. In a very comfortable lifestyle, school, however, was not Clint's strong suit. Held back in junior high due to poor grades, he spent summers catching up. His rebellious streak exploded in high school. Obscene graffiti on the scoreboard and a flaming effigy on the lawn got him kicked out of Piedmont High. Oakland
Technical High became his next stop.
Teachers saw potential and encouraged him to join school plays, but he wasn't interested. He preferred cars, girls, and his hobbyist tennis, golf, tinkering with engines, and piano. He practiced piano so intensely his fingers once bled, according to a friend. As for graduating, accounts are fuzzy. Many believe he simply dropped out and drifted toward a more carefree life. When his father moved to Seattle in early 1949, Clint stayed in Oakland with a friend. A lucky invitation to a Malibu party introduced him to filmmaker Howard Hawks' encounter that would later change everything. But before Hollywood, Clint worked real jobs, logging in Oregon, lifeguarding after earning Red Cross certification, and playing ragtime piano in an Oakland bar. Was it raw talent, lucky breaks, or destiny? His early life seemed to suggest all three. In 1951, during the Korean War, Clint was drafted into the Army and stationed at Fort Ord as a swimming instructor. It seemed like a safe assignment till September 30th, 1951. Hitching a ride back to base from Seattle, he boarded a flight plagued by bad weather. Mid-air, the plane's back door blew open. Clint rigged a temporary fix, but the radio and oxygen system soon failed. When the fuel ran out, the pilot had no choice but to ditch the aircraft in the ocean. Clint and the pilot fought the freezing waters and the threat of sharks using inflatable rafts. Waves overturned Clint's raft, forcing him to swim several miles through bioluminescent water, hallucinating as exhaustion set in. His swimming instructor training may have been what kept him alive. Eventually, he reached shore, staggering into an RCA radio station, and later reunited with the pilot who had also survived. Decades later, Clint starred in Escape from Alcatraz, portraying Frank Morris, a prisoner who escapes the island by swimming the frigid San Francisco Bay. It was art imitating life's real-life survival made his performance all the more believable. Even in the Army, Clint hustled for extra cash, working at a sugar company to supplement his $67 a month pay, and reportedly dating an officer's daughter. A visit to Carmel sparked a thought. Someday I'd like to live here, a dream he eventually fulfilled. His fellow soldiers included future TV stars Richard Long and Martin Milner. By the 1970s and early 1980s, Clint Eastwood traded his cowboy persona for tougher urban characters. This era introduced Dirty Harry, the fearless San Francisco cop willing to bend the rules to get justice, a theme he continued in several films to come. Thunderbolt and Lightfoot and Gauntlet continued Clint Eastwood's exploration of characters who lived in the gray areas between morality and legality. He also revealed a lighter side with the Every Which Way films, starring his unforgettable orangutan companion Clyde. This creative stretch concluded with the chilling Escape from Alcatraz, a reminder that Eastwood could portray not only heroes, but also desperate, complex men with equal conviction. During the making of the 1975 thriller, The Eiger Sanction, tragedy struck. The crew needed a few final shots of a difficult climbing sequence, so experienced climber David Knowles and fellow mountaineer Mike Hoover set out to capture them. They succeeded, but moments later a sudden rock slide sent a massive boulder crashing toward them on a narrow ledge. Hoover suffered a serious fracture and Knowles was killed instantly. The horror of the scene became even more surreal when the climbers realized it mirrored footage they had staged only days earlier. One recalled flying back to the location and seeing Knowles hanging lifeless from a rope, in the same position they had faked for the film. The loss devastated Eastwood, who felt personally responsible and considered shutting down the production. But the crew encouraged him to continue as a way of honoring Knowles' dedication and skill. The 1980s and early 1990s brought new layers to Eastwood's characters. They were still tough, but now deeply burdened. In Firefox, he played a pilot tormented by PTSD, while in Tightrope, he portrayed a cop psychologically scarred by his pursuit of a killer. These roles emphasized internal battles as much as external threats. The pattern continued in The Rookie, where obsession jeopardized the lives of those around him, and in White Hunter Black Heart, where a film director's fixation on an elephant hunt became his downfall. This era culminated in Unforgiven, a return to westerns, yet this time Clint played a haunted ex-outlaw, grappling with the cost of his own violence. The 2000s and beyond introduced what many call the Grumpy Clint era. In Space Cowboys, he played an aging astronaut finally getting his shot at space. In Bloodwork, he was a retired profiler, chasing a killer while battling health limitations. His performances in $1 Million Baby and Gran Torino cemented this phase, roles defined by age, loss, stubbornness, and ultimately, redemption. His more recent film, Cry Macho, continued the theme. This time with Eastwood as a weathered horseman journeying across rural Mexico. Clint Eastwood's personal life has been as dramatic as any story he ever brought to the screen. His first marriage to Maggie Johnson in 1953 seemed like an attempt to create stability, though Eastwood was reluctant about settling down. Infidelity soon became a recurring pattern. His first known extramarital child, Lori Murray, was born from an affair and placed for adoption without his knowledge. Another affair resulted in the birth of Kimberlyn, even as Maggie knew of his behavior. The couple stayed together for years and had 2 children of their own, Kyle and Allison. By 1979, though, rumors about Eastwood's relationship with co-star Sandra Locke pushed the marriage to its breaking point. The consequences of these tangled relationships extended far beyond tabloid gossip. Kimber Eastwood's descriptions of her relationship with her father have varied over the years, sometimes warm, sometimes marked by feelings of neglect. Lori Murray, adopted at birth, discovered Eastwood was her biological father in the 1990s through a private investigator. While Clint accepted her warmly after she reached out, it remains unclear whether he had known of her existence beforehand. Meanwhile, his long-term affair with stunt woman Roxanne Tunis believed to have lasted 14 years resulted in the birth of daughter Kimber. In 1972, he began a relationship with Sandra Locke while still involved with Johnson. And Locke herself remained in a platonic marriage to a childhood friend. Their fiery, decade-long partnership later exploded into lawsuits in which Locke alleged fraud, coercion, and emotional manipulation. During his relationship with Locke, Clint also became involved with flight attendant Jocelyn Reeves, fathering to more children, Scott and Catherine. Around the same time, he met actress Frances Fisher. Despite Locke's looming presence, Fisher fell deeply in love with him, and they had a daughter, Francesca. But once again, secrecy, past affairs, and media scrutiny eventually caused the relationship to unravel. In 1992, Eastwood began a relationship with news anchor Dina Ruiz. They married in 1996 and had a daughter, Morgan. Their marriage seemed calmer until Dina's participation in a reality show clashed with Clint's desire for privacy, sparking a chain of events that led to their divorce. Dina sought support from longtime friend Scott Fisher, while Clint began dating his ex-wife's friend Erica Tomlinson Fisher. The marriage ended officially in 2013. By 2015, Eastwood had found a quieter, more private partnership with hostess Christina Sandera. They have appeared at events with his exes and children, suggesting a peace and maturity that contrasts sharply with the tumult of his earlier life. In recent years, questions about Clint Eastwood's health have circulated. His absence from public events for more than 450 days sparked concern, especially after he skipped the 2023 AT&T Pro-Am golf tournament, an event he usually enjoys. But he dispelled the rumors with a rare appearance at Jane Goodall's conservation event in Carmel, Bethesda, where he looked relaxed, healthy, and in good spirits, sporting longer hair, a full beard, and a casual outfit. At 93, he is even back to directing, currently working on the courtroom drama Juror No. 2, where he was seen on set last November, fully engaged in the production. Eastwood maintains a disciplined lifestyle, following a low-fat, high-protein diet inspired partly by the early death of his father from heart disease. His son, actor Scott Eastwood, has credited him for instilling lifelong habits of fitness and nutrition, recalling how Clint encouraged him to lift weights and eat for fuel rather than indulgence, whether acting, directing, or simply enjoying an afternoon among conservationists. Clint Eastwood refuses to let age define him. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.